All right there, settle down. Order. I shall open a final witness for the prosecution, herein ending this court session of the 17th of September 1927 in the case of Ernest Vincent Hamilton. Sir John Berry, your witness, Sergeant Phillips. Thank you, Your Honour. Sergeant Phillips, you have stated that two constables routinely visited the area of Hythe near Hamilton's house on multiple occasions, almost nightly. Is that correct?
Well, yes, sir. It's been our standing practice since 1925, sir.
And Hamilton's house is some way from Folkestone, as I understand it. So why was this felt to be necessary, Sergeant Phillips?
Well, Hamilton's house, it was an area of interest for us, sir. In 1924, we received letters from the police in Buenos Aires asking us to question Hamilton on the loss of the sailing yawl Alicia Gonzalez. This may sound a little distance from the case, but we discovered that it had been burnt at its moorings in Montevideo in the year before, in 1923. Well, Mr. Hamilton was reportedly a passenger on the yawl shortly before it was lost, and when he left South America, he was unable to be questioned. The Buenos Aires police had gone to a lot of trouble to try and find us and contact us. So when I interviewed Hamilton later, and he denied all knowledge of the incident, I found that strange. There was something about his manner that made me think, well, in all truth, sir, it made me think that he might be worth watching.
Objection, my lord. Objection.
Yes. Neville Bowles for the defence.
Yes, this is mere opinion based on subjective impressions and an unverified report from a foreign government, Your Honour, which cannot possibly be accepted as evidence in this case.
I quite agree, yes.
Yes, I'm afraid to say, Sir John, you must pursue another line of questioning.
I'm afraid to say this is out of order.
Your Honour, may I approach the bar?
If you really must.
Your Honour, I can hardly pursue any other line of questioning. Sergeant Phillips is an honoured member of the legal establishment, and I have no other line of questioning for him. I wish to make an offer of a character supposition regarding Mr. Hamilton. It has been done before.
Well, it may have been done before, but it won't be done in my court, and it won't be done under my time. As far as I'm concerned, that will be the end of the session. Unless you have any other line of inquiry that you and Sergeant Phillips would like to take?
No, Your Honour, no. Not at this occasion.
Very well, then. I shall call that the end of the session. Court is adjourned until meeting tomorrow morning at 9 a.m.
Sorry about that, sir. Could have gone better, couldn't he? Oh, don't worry. Phillips, you did brilliantly. It was always a bit of a long shot, going for a character statement. I have to say that I thought that he'd be more lenient. Do you think we'll manage to get him, sir? I mean, what happened up on those cliffs? Oh, it was a nasty business. I still dream about it sometimes. Listen, Phillips, how about we have a drink? Oh, good suggestion, sir. I was feeling a mite thirsty. It's funny, isn't it? When you come across a case like this, you sort of think that it's all worth it. I've been trying to stick something on that man, St. Vincent Hamilton, for as long as I can remember. Ever since he came up in 24 for those questions about inappropriate dealings with minors. I can't be certain, of course. It could go either way. But I'm fairly sure the evidence and the reports from the cliffside arrest will send him down.
Well, I'm so glad to hear it, sir. After all this work.
You did a very good job, Phillips. It must have been awful, finding that girl like that.
Oh, it was, sir. It was.
But more worrying was the fact that we'd been onto him, if you see what I mean. I know a policeman's hunch isn't much to go on these days, but it was literally all we had. Young Williams, he did the real work. He was fast enough to stop the others from scarpering. Yes. I don't think we'll be able to get much to stick on Hoskins and the others. Did you investigate his family?
What, yeah?
Oh, his daughter, yes. Married to a man named, Rothman. That was the fellow. They all seem to be totally legitimate. Don't seem to be involved in any way at all. Hoskins, of course, he won't be let out in a hurry. But we won't get the death sentence for him. Looked like he was just there handing the knives over.
Yes, what an awful business.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm sorry that your journey down here hasn't made the business with the Buenos Aires force any easier. I suppose that one will have to just go down as one of those unsolved cases. And besides, our remit isn't really to resolve the problems however many thousands of miles away off the South American coast.
I suppose not, sir.
What was the name of that island you mentioned? Montevideo, sir? It's a city, sir. A port. Oh, no. You mentioned that the yawl had been charted to sail south. Was it to, South Georgia? Well, there's all sorts of islands down there, sir. I had a little look into it myself. Me and Williams. There's, South Georgia and, of course, Griffin Island, sir. Griffin Island? It's a rather fantastical name, isn't it?
I suppose it is, sir.
Listen, I should be going soon, but I've been meaning to ask you one last question. Off the record, you understand?
Oh, yes, sir. You can ask me anything off the record.
You'd be surprised to know that we actually prefer it that way. Yes, I'm sure you do. Look, I know that the poor woman was cut up awfully badly, and it was a miracle that she lived as long as she did. But you thought she might have said something before she died.
Oh, I know she did, sir.
But we couldn't put that in a court of law. It wouldn't stand up. You never did say what it was. Well, you must promise not to, judge me for it, sir. I'm a man of rationality, observation. What she was talking about was, well, it was damn strange. The truth of it was, she said she'd seen the future. Go on. She'd seen a ship approaching an island, and men and women going mad, killing each other. And somehow, Hamilton was responsible. In what way? A sort of casting out or cursing, a sequence of terrible frenzies that he and his sort wanted to set upon the world to bring chaos and anarchy and madness. I wanted to ignore it, just as the cries of a woman in mad pain on her deathbed. The truth was, I've never heard anyone sound so horribly sane in my life. She wasn't making anything up. She was describing something she'd seen, and in such a way it sent shivers down my very spine, sir. I wanted to ignore it, but William said he'd heard something too, just before she died. She pulled him close. I think there'd been a bit of a bond between the two of them after everything he'd done for her. And I could see she so desperately wanted to live. Williams wanted her to live too, of course. Go on, man. Yes, sir. I'll just have a little more of this, I think. Oh, good thinking. I better not, but yes, you have the rest. Well, anyway, Williams told me that, well, the young lady said, in the future, it must happen all over again, just as it had done in the past. Well, that seems like a very rum thing to say, doesn't it? Right at the end of it all. And William said she grabbed him and put her lips to his ear and said, he did it for Dagon. He called them out from the ice beneath the sea to protect the treasures that were held there. He did it for the purpose of locking the chest shut tight. I don't know what it means, sir. No, neither do I, Sergeant. Well, thank you. Thank you for your candour and your frankness. We'll get him, Sergeant. We'll get the blighter. I swear to you we will. We'll get the death sentence for him. we'll get the death sentence. The Apocalypse players present Trail of the Loathsome Slime, a 2nd edition Call of Cthulhu scenario by Marcus L. Rowland, adapted for 7th edition by Joseph Chance, starring Dominic Allen as Barney Basker, the documentary maker.
But he gave me one last glance over his shoulder before he went back down decks. He had a menacing glint in his eye, and also I detect a touch of sadness.
What did you just say?
Nothing, I was talking to the tape.
Right, okay.
Dan Wheeler as Johnny McCutcheon, the ornithologist.
Say, did you get a chance to take a look at the island before you came down here? What sort of size of colony were we expecting? The penguins?
Special guest starring Meer as Pascal Giraud, the pilot.
I'm telling you, it can work. We jack up one side of the helicopter, we got a better chance than we do now. But first thing first, we need to crack open the armory and restrain the captain.
And special guest starring Adam Meggido as Danny Cook, the photographer.
Seeing as we're looking, what the bleeding Nora is that? And I point out to those massive slime tracks.
With Jeany Spark as Dr. Rosa Thomas-Dalton, PhD, the researcher.
Yes, sorry, I'm distracted. There should be thousands of penguins here. There's a dozen, if that. Do you mean the trails, the slime trails? I don't know what they are.
I thought it was penguin shit.
No, penguin shit's not slimy like that. No, it hardens quite quickly, actually.
Danann McAleer as Edwin Crowe, the independent security contractor.
I remember that jogs my memory. I say, oh yeah, the borscht. I was looking forward to the borscht with those fresh rye bread rolls, but
And Joseph Chance as your keeper of the arcane lore. So Crowe, you hear him say weird tracks, and you look out of the window. It's one of these sort of, it's only about 1.5 feet across, but you see glistening in the Antarctic sun, for it is summer, even though it's about 1 degree out there. You see these weird, wide, glistening slime trails crisscrossing the sort of low, dense, heathery-looking rockland that leads to a pebbly mixed beach. And it's on the beach as well, and it's on the rocks, and you can see it. Very strange. Never seen anything like it.
Jesus Christ. I've never seen anything like that. Mental.
Like what?
What are those tracks out there? What are they? Looks like
that's him leaning on the door as you guys are on the stairs, but they're all going up, Basker, because they're desperate to get to that armory.
Yeah.
And you do indeed get to the armory, and it is indeed locked. And 2 of you have keys, and there are 2 doors, both locked, so you could open both at the same time if you want to.
Here we go. Both at the same time.
2 shotguns, 2 assault rifles, 1 9mm pistol, automatic.
Okay.
I don't know what your specialisms are.
Another flare gun, and 12 flares.
I'd be happy with a shotgun myself.
I will take a shotgun.
I've used an M16 Colt automatic. Anything like that here? Those assault rifles look pretty good.
Here you go. Here you are, Cookie. Here's the clip. How much ammo do each of these weapons have?
So the assault rifles have 2 clips, and the shotguns appear to have 36 shells each.
Okay, I'm going to take a shotgun and a rifle, give the rifle to Cookie, and...
It's the 80s. As you can probably tell from the sound of that, there's a lot of miming going on from the players of cartridges being thrown, clips being snapped into place. I think that's a I always want to call it a bolero. That's wrong, isn't it? The racked shells of shotguns on belts being thrown over. It's a glorious 80s gun-toting montage sequence. Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
And the other shotgun, the Crowe. And then we have the pistol, yes?
Yeah.
Who want this?
I'm all right with the pistol, but it depends. How are you?
Pretty good, but... And then Giraud, from a bag that's been hanging over his shoulder, pulls out a 45. I'm taken care of.
Good to see.
Wish I had a duel on me before. Could have been a shorter fight.
Well, quite. And if any break out now, at least we're better equipped. Are my quarters near this armory?
You've already been through to your socks.
I thought I had. Yeah.
Okay.
Excellent.
In
which case...
do you do the classic 80s maneuver?
What, jump in the air and freeze?
No, but I mean, like, he pulls out a 45. Do you do anything?
I think in retrospect, it's not equivalent, really, but I pull out a matte black combat knife and say, well, I'm glad I'm not the only one who stirred away a few pieces on this ship, and I tuck it into the back of my belt and check the shotgun's loaded.
Yeah, better safe than sorry, right?
You're not wrong.
Okay. The three of us, we know how to handle these things.
Aye.
You know of anybody else on board?
I don't know. I wouldn't trust that Basker with a gun. No offence to him.
Not right now.
McCutcheon, right now. I don't think he's got the stomach for a gun. No offence to him. Rosa, I mean, have you...
I asked her,
no
she said no.
Oh, right.
Although I do have the flare gun, so maybe some extra flares might be quite useful.
We'll definitely take them.
Speaking of which, we know there is another flare gun up here in the bridge as well, yes?
Right, let's grab it. More the better.
That's what you've got there as well. Right?
Yeah.
And there's 12 flares with that.
And,
mother load, guys.
best not to let any weapons lying around.
Absolutely.
How many people do you think have been injured?
Well, it's hard to guess. At least half a dozen. Probably more. Okay. Well, the main thing I want to know, and this is me as a player, is the ship still moving?
Oh, no, very much stopped. Beached.
Good. Okay, I just wanted to check. It's not still sort of, nuzzling into the ground or anything.
And skillfully done. I mean, Rothman did a good job, considering.
Yeah, fair play to him.
I think on which point, I think maybe there is a sort of impasse up at the armory as you're considering the full nature of where you're at and what to do next. I'm going to trust that you've got what you say that you're carrying, and you've made a note of it. Rosa Thomas-Dalton, Barney Basker, and Johnny McCutcheon, you are witness to a somewhat wild-eyed Dr. Patricia Singh running back in.
In the interim, I've been going through the little drawers and cabinets looking for valerian root tablets.
Very good. I mean, I was going to say this was simultaneous to what's happening. So you were in the process of doing that. Yeah,
and if I come across a scalpel, I'm going to pocket it.
Well, given her prompt arrival, let's have a luck check. But I won't be brutal.
Oh, that looks good. That's a 24 and a 45.
Oh, nice. Really?
That's hard.
Really, really nice. Really nice. Not quite hard, but it's close enough, I'd say. So I would say that now I'm in your hands on this one. Is the Valerian because of seasickness, right? It's not just... Are you...
it was just to calm me down.
Yeah. So...
But I'm actually not that bothered about it. It was just... in my mania, I was sort of looking for them. But then it occurred to me that I might come across a scalpel. And if I do...
You definitely come across a scalpel. In fact, a sequence...
I slip that into my pocket.
A sequence of scalpels is there on the side. Is one enough? Because there are a sequence.
I'll take as many as I can get away with carrying.
Well, if
that's one, that's fine.
54.
I mean, obviously, she is a doctor and she does potentially have to use them. So I guess I'll leave it up to you to how many you'd like to name. There's 5 there.
1. One is fine.
One is enough.
The big one.
The big one. Take the big one. The one that will do the most damage. That, and I was going to say there's some anti-emetic, anti-nausea pills.
No, I'll leave it.
Okay, right. So you see Rosa and Johnny, you see Basker like scrabbling around a bit. You can't quite see exactly what he's doing, but he's sort of looking for stuff. But it all kind of seems to fit his general post-crazed dream moment, both of which you believed. I mean, you definitely believed that he wasn't faking it, he wasn't lying. There was no forced pressure of speech. It's not craziness. And maybe that sort of arrests you both slightly enough for Sing when she comes back in, and she's got a hand on her head in a slightly strange way, as if she's in a play, and she's expressing furious thought. And she says, "I think I might have an idea what it might be. I'm not sure, but I need someone to look at this."
Yes, what is it? What do you think?
Where's Rothman? Where's Giraud?
They're up at the armory. There'll be a
Crowe? Where's Crowe?
He's there with them.
Would you come and look?
Yes, all right.
Yes, and I think there's one of those moments, one of those looks between the two of you, Dr. Rosa Thomas-Dalton and Dr. Patricia Singh, where there's that bond, there's that connection that you mentioned in one of your dictaphone recordings. And there's just the subtlest suggestion, like, yeah, we're two professionals and we're at the top of our game.
Yes.
And we're always in these rooms full of men. But it sort of gives you this sense of there's a backup there. Then she's moving around the room. And she sort of looks at you, McCutcheon. She doesn't even look at what Basker's doing at that particular moment, because Basker's back.
I spin round and I stride over, got the tape recorder going straight away, assuming I still have it.
Yeah.
If there's something important, we should record it.
All right. And then she turns on her heel and she starts heading back down. Will you follow her?
Yes.
Come on, McCutcheon. Science.
And she goes with real purpose. It's a slightly disturbing journey. Now that the bodies have been moved, you see these sort of moments of battle in corridors where blood is still there and smeared, and even occasionally a bit of drying foam and a little blue stain, which of course you will avoid cautiously. Mm-hmm. And she heads to the kitchen and she throws the kitchen door open, and you get this lovely smell of this beautiful scent of freshly baked rye rolls. They're still there. And she says, "Here, look at this." And she throws open the storage door and goes over to the grain storage. And you can see that there's been a sort of mad sweeping of grain to one side. And she points in the corner to this really obvious damp patch on this rye bread flour. It's ground. No, it's not the flour. It's the grain itself. She goes, "Look here. It's gone damp. I wonder if this could be some sort of ergotism. And could you give me either a hard education roll or I'll take biology, natural world, or even history. If it's biology, I'll give you a bonus die.
Library use?
I'd go with education. Hard, obviously, is harder. But
No, failed on all of that.
Yeah. Passed 52 on an 86 for education.
but it's not quite. You need an 80. You need a 44. So if you spent 6 luck, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
You gonna do it?
Do it.
Yep.
I'll do it. Yeah.
Well, it's just one of those little papers that you read. So you suddenly think purpurea, right? That's why you did it. It's that purple. And ergotism is a fungal infection that can cause psychosis. You've never heard of it as intense as this. She's already sort of dashing back and she starts to voice some of this theory to you and said, if he made it using this grain, I can't see any corrupted grains. And what you know is that they look like dark grains in amongst the brown. And of course it's hard with rye bread to be 100% certain whether they've got this fungus or not.
It's possible. It's possible. The hallucinogenics of fungus and mould are well known. I mean, magic mushrooms are for a reason, and some sort of corruption of this grain could, if ingested, cause hallucinations, foaming at the mouth, violent, erratic behaviour. It's possible.
She says, I just don't understand why it would be quite so aggressive. I mean, they only had it last night. Now that you've got it, you've probably not heard of it in this context, Basker. But you could give me a history roll to see whether, and certainly I would do the same for you as well, Rosa Thomas-Dalton. Just a straight history.
That's a fail for me. Big old fail.
Ooh, it's a deliciously hard pass. 0-4 on 45.
An extreme. So you suddenly remember, of course, that was potentially connected with outbreaks of plague. Back in the 13th, 14th century, there was a huge problem with it in Eastern Europe. It was called St. Anthony's Fire, and it was famous for having this convulsive element where painful seizures and spasms and mental effects, including mania and psychosis, and actually the St. Anthony's order of monks were associated with that naming of the disease because they were the ones who were best at treating it. And it was found out to be ergotism. But you also remember that it's not supposed to be as fast acting as this, and there's never been a mention of the blue colour. You do know that it is specifically a claviceps microscopic fungus, and it is associated with the purpurea, claviceps purpurea.
It is possible. It is possible, but the violence with which it all suddenly broke out, and at the same time, is suspicious.
So Singh's moving around the kitchen looking for things, and then she finds Brown's notes. And she says, "Look! He definitely got it from. He got it from our stop along the route. Here, yes. It was while we were in South America. He picked it up at Sao Paulo, and it says here that he checked it, and so did Ericsson, and there was no damp recorded. It would take weeks, possibly months, for the damp to cause that sort of problem. It doesn't make sense." And then she looks up at you, because Thomas-Dalton, you're sort of engaging, but Basker, obviously you're still there. She says, "We need to do blood tests. We need to do a live blood test on one of us, and we need to do a blood test on the captain."
Good idea. Well, we know that I would like the assurance that there's nothing wrong with me, so by all means test my blood.
Right. Yes, excellent. If you come with me. And then she sort of falls into doctorly mode. But Basker and Dalton, do you want to give me a library use or a spot hidden with this book in front of you, or a spot hidden with the kitchen in front of you?
I've passed on my spot hidden.
Yeah.
And therefore I've passed on my library check.
Nice. Good teamwork. So the spot hidden.
I got an amazing pass. 08 on 75.
You realise that there are signs of struggle here in the kitchen, and a fight must have occurred here, which seems slightly strange because there was no reason for anyone to be in here at this particular time, apart from the cook, unless it was because someone sort of charged in here. This is one of the people suffering from. But you're conscious that at some point the cook must have got up to the radio room in order to kill Tim Nils and decapitate him because his body's still up there.
I turn to the others and I say, I'm rather concerned about the chronology of everything. The editor in me is thinking about the sequence of events that occurred, the story of what happened. I can't help but notice that there seems to have been a struggle in this room. But it also appears that the cook was patient zero, potentially. I don't think anyone... Either someone barged in here and infected him, or he was patient zero. If he was patient zero and he got it from the food, then why did he have an altercation in this room? A fight? Could it be possible, and I know this sounds fantastical, could it be possible that there was someone or something stowing away in the grain store that has infected the grain and has made all these people sick, and then at some point it attacked the cook in this room? Like a South American toad or something.
As he says that, Dalton, Singh is listening to you. Singh and McCutcheon are listening to you avidly with this link of ergotism, but potentially a different strain of ergotism, and Basker sort of theorising. But as he says chronologically, Dalton, that seems to inspire you with this, flipping through this. It's a crudely recorded... I mean, Percy Brown's handwriting is not great to read, but you're so quick and so energised by this sort of moment that you see very clearly that Patel's name is down. Ahmed Patel is down to take food to the captain, Dr. Blatheby, and Tolliver Baines separately, and that they will get their meals separately. And also Crowe and Rothman were on duty. Crowe was on security duty and Rothman was on pilot duty, so they were going to eat microwave meals. In the top class range of microwave meals they would be eating in the early hours. Crowe had preferred to take night watch because he liked to work the deck. Everybody knows that.
Just for clarification, do you mean Crowe and Giraud?
Nope.
Okay.
Giraud, you ate with the captain's table, but the captain was notably late to the table. He'd ordered some food up to himself.
So can I just double clarify?
Yeah.
So this isn't that. Let me get the name right. It isn't that Patel was doing this like on a regular basis. You mean specifically last night?
Yeah, specifically
those
last
three
night,
people.
He was ordered to take the up. It just says Patel next to the name, which is a common thing for him to be doing, because that wouldn't be the first time that he's done it.
Okay.
So
he's the guy that everyone picks on to do the crappy little jobs at 11 o'clock at night.
I'm right, aren't I? Huh? That we ate separately to most of the crew. We all seem all right. It is in the food. It must be, huh?
Nobody who ate with you has presented with the symptoms except for the captain.
So the question is...
But the captain appears to have had 2 meals. Because he came to the captain's table, but he also had some food ordered up. He's a big man.
So the question is this...
He liked his food.
Is this deliberate, or is this just like half of them got food poisoning by mistake, or...
It seems very singular, very curious.
Well, I think you're very right, Johnny, that definitely it is in the food. But my question is, if it's in the food and the cook got sick from the food but was the preparer and producer of the food, why did he have a fight in the kitchen? What attacked him in the kitchen? Because it can't have been... If he was the first person to go nuts, then who was he attacking? Who attacked him? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
What if there is an assassin on board the ship?
Stowaway.
You hear someone coming down the steps as you say that. And it's Tolliver Baines, and he says, I need everybody up on deck. I need to talk about how long it's going to take for us to get off this island. If we're going to repair that ship. Has anyone seen Rothman?
Never mind get off this island. I'm interested in getting on the island.
We?
What do you mean? We? Yeah, all of us.
We're going to repair the ship?
Yeah. Well, we got 2 engineers dead and 3 crewmen.
They would have been doing the
I'm a
work.
geologist.
I'm a
celebrity geologist.
Basker, I'm not saying it's going to be you. I just need everybody on deck in 3 minutes. If you need to go to the head, now's the time.
What is the hierarchy at the present time?
Has anyone seen Rothman? And at which point Jones goes up to Pascal, Giraud, Edwin, Crowe, and Danny Cook and says, "Have you seen Rothman? He said he'd be at the other lifeboat."
Rothman,
When did we last see Rothman?
You saw him at one lifeboat
Oh, yeah. He was with who? Rothman was with...
with Jones. He's coming up to you to say, he said he'd meet me there.
No sign of him.
Well, I can't see him.
well, keep your eyes peeled then.
You hear a bit of some raised voices below, and then you hear Baines say, "Everybody downstairs, on deck. Meet at the starboard bow. We need to talk about how we're going to get this ship moving."
Who's put him in charge?
I whisper to McCutcheon, "I'm not taking orders from any old goon just because the captain's incapacitated. There has to be a hierarchy on the ship, and I will respect that."
He's a drill engineer. Well, who's placed him in charge? Isn't this a military thing or a naval thing?
He's a land surveyor as well.
Yeah, so...
Well, beginning to wonder why they brought a drill in the first place.
Well, that was to drill the rocks.
Singh leans to you, Basker, and says, Here, I'll take that blood from you, I think, now. Let's just dash in there and do it quickly. It's all right, you won't feel a thing."
Madam.
Oh, if I had a penny for every time, come on.
All right.
We'll do a cut across to the meeting on the starboard bow. Did anybody have any special requests? Do you know what? I'm going to backtrack from that.
I was just saying, I think Giraud is intending to try to get the helicopter off the deck.
Yeah, perfect.
Eventually.
It was being jacked up, so...
Yeah, so it all depends on whether Simpson has done his job.
Yeah.
But, I mean, now that he's got several guns in his hands, he's probably a lot calmer.
Yeah. And then the assault rifles you can kind of put across your body, of course. They come with a strap.
Yeah, I assume... Yeah, he could strap them. So that's probably how he's wearing those.
Yeah. So you guys are tooled up, of course.
And no one else on board the ship has firearm skill anyway, do they?
As far as you're aware,
Okay.
you and Crowe were the security. In the event of piracy, the two of you were to be able to be the trained individuals. I mean, you were aware that Cook had seen military experience in terms of he'd taken some photography in war zones, so it seemed logical that Cook might have a cool head when it came to that sort of thing.
Knows how to wear a flak jacket,
for instance.
Yeah.
Is that
Question, Michael. What is Ahmed Patel's position on board the ship?
Yeah, so Patel has been helping the artificer with your situation. So he comes up, sort of wiping grease and oil off his hands, looking quite tired, but pleased with his work. As let's say that you're kind of just heading through out of the door, but Team Kitchen, just because you're that little more conscious of it, could I get a spot hidden from... Well, actually, I'll give it to all of you. Come on, let's have a spot hidden. As you're leaving out of the corridor...
Regular success.
Yes, I'm going to say let's make it a hard.
Oh, then no.
Can I have a hard?
Extreme success. Extreme
success from
McCutcheon.
Got it. The dice have not been with me today. That's another 83, so no.
It's been consistently high. It's all right. You're saving it for the crucial rolls that are coming up.
Johnny McCutcheon is very good at looking at things.
McCutcheon spots something on the floor, leading towards the staterooms, leading towards the posh quarters. Did anyone else get a hard or an extreme?
Art.
Do I spot?
You spot
a trail of loathsome slime.
You spot a trail of loathsome flour.
Ooh.
Leading to Blatheby's room.
Uh-oh.
And it's as the others are sort of going through, and Giraud's nearly out of the door at this point. He's at the head.
I'll
say I think Crowe's probably following last, so you've got a military man at the front and the back.
Great. Well, I might lag back and just grab the last person who's out. I don't want to stop everyone, but it's just the last person. So if that's Crowe,
I'm going to say that's Crowe.
I just maybe take him by the arm and say, Crowe. Have a look at, You seen this? Some sort of trail of loathsome flower.
Basker, did you pass a regular spot hidden? Yeah, so you spot this. You spot this moment out of the corner of your eye, and you hear the words, loathsome flower.
Well,
and
over the cookies.
The rest,
should I say loathsome?
No, you shouldn't say that.
Do the rest of us hear
Say it
this?
again?
So we don't have to make the sanity check then? We're fine?
At the moment, I'm saying that you're all sort of just kind of moving forwards. Patel's blocked your immediate access, and he nods at you all because you haven't seen him since he came out screaming. And he says, "All right, you all right, Rosa?"
Yes, I'm all right. How about you?
I'm a mess. Anyway, looks like the Yank wants to have a word. And he smiles, but is clearly stressed and tired and exhausted, but appears to be sort of, either a master criminal or appears to be genuine. In that moment, you are aware that sort of Basker's looking back and McCutcheon and Crowe are having a little mini conference. So Cook, Giraud, Dalton, anyone want to sort of hang back, or would you want to go on?
Go on, like
Yeah.
Go on.
Go on.
If it helps, what you might hear me say is, well, let's at least open the door. Make sure there's no out in there. And I give the door a dump with my foot.
So you head up the corridor, and you can see the sort of trail of flour just at the at the doorwell, and a little bit on the door. But it stops there. It's very fine grilled, fine
grilled flour,
fine ground flour. But it's brown and white, which is possibly why it was so hard to see. It's not immediate.
Of course, I've not been a part of that discussion, so I don't really.
No, but McCutcheon has, and is conscious that the grain may have been infected by a fungus.
Yeah, you notice me go, I'll just give the door handle a sniff, see if I can smell anything on the old.
So the door is partially open.
Oh, okay. That was a joke anyway.
It opens inwards. I just thought I'd make it clear. Sorry.
Yeah. I tap it open with my foot and just say, anyone in there?
It looks like the room is a real mess. The first thing you see is there's pages scattered around on the floor. And a couple on the bed.
Right. But no sign of any life.
No.
Okay. And not really many hiding places?
It looks like a fight's happened in here.
Right. In which case I pick up one of the pages just to see if there's anything important about it, or whether it's just some random thing that someone's torn apart.
And I pick up loads of the pages to find out the same thing.
So the first thing you see, Crowe, is in 1924 we received letters from the police in Buenos Aires asking us to question Hamilton.
Alexander.
Apparently this is being said by someone called SGTP :
Oh, God.
You quite quickly realise this is a court transcript, and you pick up a cutting from the Kent Inquirer. It says in a handwritten note, the Kent Inquirer, March 4th, 1927, Cliffside Vigil foiled by Christopher Entwistle. Kent police constables led by Sergeant John Phillips have interrupted what has been described as a black mass being...
The Kent Inquirer, March 4th, 1927. Cliffside Vigil foiled by Christopher Entwistle. Kent police constables led by Sergeant John Phillips have interrupted what has been described as a black mass being held on the coastline above the Eldon Rocks, Folkestone. One Ernest St. Vincent Hamilton from Hythe, formerly of Trottiscliffe, was named as the leader of the group, although 3 other individuals were also arrested. Hamilton has made no response to inquiries as to the purpose of his doings, but the Kent Constabulary released a statement confirming that a young person died at the scene, despite valiant attempts by the local doctor to prevent the murder. Kent Constabulary are pursuing the maximum penalty for the gruesome events. The Folkestone Mayor, Walter Perivale, commended Sergeant Phillips and his men for their actions and condemned the barbaric act. The last recorded black mass in the area was dated at 1839.
So I will now give the whole team access to the papers.
Yeah, that's fair.
But it's seamlessly cut away to Tolliver Baines standing in his puffy American-style bright blue jacket with his sort of pink-style jeans and brown hiking boots. He's got all the mod cons. It's all these kind of waterproof materials in his jacket and flashy badges and the classic polar hood with the fur. But he hasn't got that up because it's not that cold. He says, "Sorry to call you all in here. Hang on a second, where is everyone? Where are the others? Giraud?"
They were right behind us. They're on the way, I think. Where's Crowe? Look, what's this about, man?
I was hoping Rothman would be here. Jones, where's Rothman? I don't know. I went up to ask these people that, too. I can't find him.
We haven't seen him with the captain and the first mate dead. I guess he's in charge, huh?
Well, technically. But I guess that's one of the things we need to talk about. Basker, you recording this? Is that really...
I'm recording everything.
Well, maybe that's...
Oh, yeah, and...
Maybe that's not as stupid as I was about to say it is.
I misspeak earlier. The captain, he is not dead, but he is taped to a bed right now, so he might as well be.
Good thinking.
We have been summoned to a meeting of the survivors, presumably to decide a hierarchy of command.
Where's the doctor, Basker? She was with you a second ago. You popped into the lab?
Yes.
She's still working on that? And he starts with you, Basker, but he addresses that back to Giraud.
She took a blood sample, but it's a need-to-know basis. We need to establish a firm hierarchy of command on this vessel, now that the captain is incapacitated.
Well, I think we're looking at 3 days of work. Where are they? Here, Jones, go back and get them. Right you are.
I propose a vote.
I'm not trying to take command. Jones dashes back. Crowe, McCutcheon, how long are you going to... Are you just going to grab everything and go, or are you going to start reading?
Oh, I don't think I necessarily want to start reading in there, but remind me, do we know whose room this is?
This is Blatheby's room.
This is Blatheby's room.
You could search it.
Yeah, I mean, that is what I'd like to do, to be honest.
Crowe, what would you...
I think while we're here, I'll certainly...
Will you help?
Open any lockers or...
I'd definitely like to... I'd like to know whether the... if possible, I'd like to know whether the trail of flour is a clue or just a keeper device to get me into this room. So what's the role I need to do to find that out?
Audacious.
All you need to do is look at the clock.
So I'm not interested in the flower anymore. I just want to have a little look around the room.
No, the flower's real. The flower is real. And you were witness to Basker's thinking through. He thought there'd been a fight in the kitchen. And now there's a trail of flour that leads into Blatheby's room.
Yeah.
Which seems odd.
So maybe I say out loud to...
Blatheby's an ornithologist.
Maybe I say out loud to Crowe, does this flour look like the trail of someone who's brought the flour back from some kind of scuffle in the kitchen, huh? Or someone who's taken the flour from this room to the kitchen to, poison the food or something, something like that. Which way's the flour gone?
No fucking idea, mate. I've no idea. I mean, could I roll a physics?
You could roll an idea check for me.
Okay, my physics is very good. That's all. The only reason I asked.
I'll give you a bonus. I'll give you a bonus die using rationality.
Okay.
Profound
so idea roll.
Physical rationality is informing this.
That's a 48 on a 70, or
let's see what the bonus is.
Or a 19 on a 70.
Got to stop rolling your 10s on your bonus.
Oh,
see,
shit!
That's naughty. Slap on the wrist.
Oh, that is naughty.
Units, sorry, but I think, it's because percentiles, I always call them, sorry. He's absolutely right.
Although it'd be less,
He's
wouldn't
absolutely right. 10s. So what are units? So a 19 is hard.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, so you're pretty sure, although the second is feasible, it seems very convoluted to you.
Yeah.
This looks like a scuffle that came back, or someone came back with flour and came in here. So scuffle, flour in here.
Yeah.
And if it was the latter, surely it's a setup.
Yeah.
And that...
Well,
that's a shared thing. I'm going to say that's a shared thing.
I'll share that out loud, and I'll say that out loud. And also, I've no idea about the ergot nonsense. So.
Yeah, he hasn't said that yet, which is a shame because Danann knows quite a lot about ergot.
Oh, mate, I've tried it a few times, you know. But, those summers in Western Superman.
What are you doing in here? Hey, you two, what are you doing? Jones comes around the corner. What's going on? Why are you in Blatheby's room?
Just checking. There was a trail led in here. Just wanted to make sure there was no one injured or, nothing.
They're going to vote on who's in command. Rothman's gone missing.
Right. I shoulder him out of the way and run up to the deck. I say, oh, right. Excellent. I'll, we should be there for that.
He turns on his heels. Do you join the group?
I really want to give the room a once over.
I think I do, but
nothing else to be found in it.
I turn to McCutcheon and I hand him the papers I picked up.
Yeah,
because I know he's more of that sort of guy than me. I hand him to them, say, put those with the others.
Yeah.
I'll head on up. I'll fill you in, and I sort of give him a look, as in trying to suggest if you find anything of interest, let me know.
Give me a spot hidden, bought for you by Crowe, as Crowe busies Jones away.
Yeah.
McCutcheon gets to look under the bed.
Yes, please. That's a hard success to say. He's very good.
So you find the last page of the computer printout, which was under the bed, and you find a case for a video camera, which does not have the video camera in it.
Okay.
And they are the items. And you hear Jones saying, well, is he coming or not?
I'm coming.
Yeah, here he is.
So you dash up to what seems to be a slightly heated circular conversation of, no, I'm not saying I want to take control of the ship. I'm just saying, Basker.
I nominate Danny Cook, and I think he should lead us.
I don't think that's the way it works.
I think he needs to make his little girl proud.
Giraud, if we can't find Rothman, what do? I'm saying that it's going to take us 3 days. Maybe if... So Schmidt is there. It's the first time you've seen him since the fight. The German head of the ornithologist. He looks very pale. But our injured Dr. Norma Patterson, she isn't there. She's back with the doctor. And Schmidt says, I don't think this is wise. I think it should be Monsieur Giraud who is in charge, Mr. Baines. He is the man who has the most experience with Crowe is surely the second. He is here for our safety. Is that not the case, Mr. Crowe? I'm not saying, says Baines, chipping in immediately, but then other people start saying...
Okay. Look, we all want to get off this rock, right?
That's right.
Then maybe we can all work together without worrying whose dick is the biggest, eh?
Yeah.
Giraud's right. Here's what we need to do. We need to organise a sweep of the ship to find Rothman. Rothman is the commanding officer in the absence of the captain. And so we at least need to know whether he's alive or dead.
I second that motion.
Also, we need to be careful because, as we have seen, there is some kind of sickness going around. Who knows? He might have crawled off in a corner somewhere and is now dribbling blue gunk out of his face. So
exactly.
All right.
There's a possibility it might be a fungal infection. And so there might be spores in the air. We should all be very careful. I say, pulling my shirt over my face.
Motion to be suggested, comrades, that if the good doctor could check everyone over whilst we're in the same room, then we'll know if everyone here at least is safe or if anyone needs to be quarantined.
Yes.
Yeah. What was it?
We should do blood tests on everyone.
Yeah, what was this blood test thing you talked about earlier?
Yeah.
I've given
Put
a blood...
in a petri dish.
I've given a blood... And then we get a flamethrower and we set fire to it.
Aye.
If the blood explodes, we know they're a bad one. I've given a...
Isn't that how one detects witches?
Aye.
No, it's how you detect things.
My apologies.
As Thomas-Dalton and Basker say this, could you all give me a spot hidden on the starboard bow?
If we see the witch.
Jesus.
Because you're looking at Baines. Baines is he's sort of taken the high point.
Another roll in the 80s. That's an 82 for me.
It's literally...
And an 85 from me.
I got an 11, a hard success.
I got a 9.
Oh, I've got it's
And
As
either end
I'm
at the
saying,
moment.
I know I'm human. And then I
With preternatural power.
And I say, leave me my name. And then I look. I get an 11.
And it's another hard success from Johnny McCutcheon.
McCutcheon's fine, he's a blinder.
He's on one.
But as he spots whatever he spots, he just mumbles. I think if you look back through history, you'll see from a Marxian perspective that hierarchical structures have always failed, and I'm not sure this is necessarily the right course of action. But,
I second that motion, comrade.
Weirdly, no one's listening.
Damn straight. How did Cook do? Cookie.
Yeah, made it. Only just.
So,
extreme for me.
working in reverse order, Cook, you see something in the water off to the left. So you've beached up on the right of let us call it the mouth of the harbour, and it draws your attention. You're thinking you just need to get to that left starboard, left starboard. That port side of the ship, and you'll be able to see even better. You can see something just cresting out of what looks like the deepest central part of the harbour ahead.
Hang about.
McCutcheon, you got a hard.
Mm-hmm.
Did I?
So you're pretty sure that's a modern mast breaking out of the water of a it's a wreck. It's probably the funnel, the tallest point of the ship. So it's the funnel. Crowe, you're sure it's the funnel, and you can just see the outline of something in the water there. And Basker, you see all of that, and you just see a pulse of movement. From the bows to the stern. And unfortunately, of all of us who could have rolled an extreme success, you were the one person who might be in the worst position. So I am going to ask for a sanity check on that.
How big is this pulse of movement?
You'd say about 20 metres across.
Oh.
Maybe 40, 50 metres in length.
Oh my god.
Jesus Christ. That's a fail. That's a fail on my sanity.
Yeah.
That's a 58 on my 39 sanity.
It's more the suggestive nature of things. You saw nothing specific, but that is 1 point of sanity.
As my involuntary action, I'm going to suggest...
Please do.
...that I'm saying... I know I'm human. What the fuck is that? And I run backwards. And I fall backwards on the floor, and I'm scrabbling across the deck. What did you say? 1 point?
Christ.
1 point. A mere one.
We see Captain Jack Sparrow atop his mast, sailing into the bay.
Would you, the two of you who passed, would you like to look more closely?
Oh, yeah.
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 Great.
Fuck it.
Could you,
What would you like?
what do I want here?
In fact, I'm readying my camera.
Oh, yeah. Give me a photography and what's the equivalent of your spotting the bird roll?
Mine. Rifle.
Oh, yeah, no, yours wasn't extreme, was it? Yeah, it's the two extremes.
No, mine was hard.
Hard. Crowe, you got an extreme, didn't you? 11.
No, hard as well.
Oh, hard as well. Not quite. So, in which case it's just you then, I think, Cookie.
Okay. So
Give me a photography roll. As you pull up the camera, and that gives you that extra focus. Technically, you don't have to do this in order to get the shot. It's whether you can get the best possible shot.
Yeah. As the grebes dive across.
Yes, exactly. Some seabirds cross.
I failed by 3. I'm going to burn some luck.
Yeah. That's what we like.
Spend 3 luck.
Yeah.
Pass.
Mm-hmm.
You get a shot, and there's a sort of weird ripple effect that you do catch as the sun glints onto the water. It's not going to be the best ever shot. You know, the composition isn't quite right. You cleared the bow rail, but that's what put you off slightly. But you swear you just saw something move, something quite big.
Okay.
By this wreck, and you're sure it's a wreck.
I think I kind of snap away as I'm moving through the windows and the portholes, and then when I kind of realise that I've seen something, I stop and just kind of pull back.
What's going on? Giraud, what are you going to... you've got high dexterity. Crowe, you've got high dexterity. What are you two going to do in terms of this Basker's backing away. And actually, do you know what? Thomas-Dalton, you've got high dexterity as well.
Mm.
I think the three of you have the capacity to be able to physically do something.
I think the obvious thing when he says what the hell is that and scrambles away, he turns around and looks. Does he see anything? I failed to spot hidden terror.
It becomes clear that there's a wreck there. Crowe, are you going to try and secure Basker or anything, or are you going to have a look as well? Or?
I mean, he's scrabbling backwards, right? But he's not scrabbling towards the edge or anything.
No, he's going straight back towards the bridge at the present moment.
Actually, Giraud sort of swats Crowe on the shoulder and just points at the wreck and just says, "The Unity fucking Canto. Could be."
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Shit.
Looks, got all the signs.
So,
keep that between us, remember.
If you don't know the Unity Canto, you can roll a history.
Might as well.
Basker, I'm going to give you a bonus die because you have worked with the BBC.
It was no help.
No, all three failed.
Although, actually...
Yeah, I failed mine.
Actually, it's history, wasn't it? I don't think my history's good enough.
I had an extreme pass.
Ooh.
Success.
Yeah, no, nothing.
So the Unity Canto, you suddenly remember there was a report of a ship lost, a Liberian vessel, captained by a Danish captain.
Tolverson, I remember.
And the ship was lost around the coast of this very island.
That was only a couple of years ago.
There was an article about it. It was at the outbreak of hostilities, unfortunately. Possibly why things were a little bit, not even 10th page, sort of 21st page international shipping news, nobody reads it. But of course, because it was relevant to Antarctic waters, you did read that article. You can't believe you'd never actually connected with the fact that it mentioned that the last report had been that they'd wanted to seek shelter in a storm and to take on water because there is water at the lake at the top of Griffin Island, fresh water.
Were there any sort of inexperienced teenage conscripts on board? Because if so, I think Thatcher might have gone out of their way to sink it to the bottom. I don't know, I'm just...
Well, I think they were Liberian crew and a Danish captain. He had
they'll be fine then.
The suggestion was, Thomas-Dalton, that there was no foul play, considered it was bad weather.
Right.
But this could potentially be that wreck. And the tide is, of course, lowering, which would make sense why you can see it now. But it doesn't explain Basker and Cook's reactions.
But I just whisper back to Pascal, no need to hide it.
But there's something moving in that way.
I would like to go to Basker if no one else is...
No one else at the present moment is going there.
I'd like to go to Basker and just try and sort of... is he kneel down next to him and sort of just check he's all right? Maybe offer him a fag. I'm not sure whether he's a smoker, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd take it with both hands. Oh, well, that's better. Did you see that?
No, I didn't. But and then, like sotto voce, I've got the papers in my hands, and I say, what did you say the that fella you saw in your dream was called?
Alicia Gonzalez.
And I check that no one's looking, and then I show him the paper that references the ship, the Alicia Gonzalez.
Yeah. So this is some court notes from 1927 regarding a man named Hamilton. And he sort of gives them to you, and there's a bit of chaos as people are going, like, Schmidt is going, I don't understand. This is the Unity Canto? You're saying there's a ship's been downed here? Why did nobody tell us this? And Baines is going, it wasn't necessary for people to know. It was only going to scare people if they were getting on board ship. And it all sort of kind of starts to come out. And in the chaos, it's only the six of you who see Rothman on the shore, walking east along the shore. I say walking, running east along the shore. Rothman, who, of course, along with the captain and the first mate, has been to this island before, in 1976.
Is that Rotman?
Looks like him.
I thought he was on the boat. How did he get down there?
Christ knows.
Look at him.
He must have taken one of the secondary ships.
Effortless.
How many secondary ships were there?
2. Both of the transponders have been tampered with and destroyed.
What are you talking about? Only one would be a secondary ship and the other would be a tertiary
Ship. Okay, well, I think he took the secondary one.
So we cut to one of those exciting 1980s montage sequences where we have Dalton, McCutcheon and Basker with papers, passing them over a desk. There's coffee, there's ham sandwiches, because it's the 80s. And they're looking at things, and they're giving blood, and Singh comes in every now and then and says, I don't think it's contagious, and you don't need masks. Don't worry, that's a hoax by the government. And you get Crowe loading his shotgun, going over with Cook. And Crowe, what's your heavy machinery skill?
Let's have a little check. Oh. My heavy machinery is mech repair 70, heavy machinery. Where's heavy machinery? Oh, 71 in operate heavy machinery.
Yeah, so you're lowering the winch down to Cook, who's attaching it to the snow track.
Of course.
And then you're starting the engine up while Jones and Giraud... no, it's the artificer, isn't it?
Of course it is.
Simpson and Giraud are readying the hull Navy 1 for flight, starting the rotors, getting ready. And so we've got our 2 vehicles primed and ready to swing over and launch and fly. But the question is, who's going in the snow track?
Oh.
Who's going in the 2-man helicopter?
What's the capacity?
So the snow track can take 4 people.
Giraud will say outright he wants someone who can use a rifle in the helicopter with him.
Yeah, definitely the helicopter. Yeah. Wait. Snow track. No, I'll take the copter. Yeah, definitely the copter.
To be fair, we could have had a scene with you sitting in a copter as well, because the time that you weren't sitting in the snow track, you were also sitting in the copter.
I think on that long voyage, yeah, definitely sitting in one.
That is true.
Both good toys.
If that's the interaction, I might offer to swap my shotgun for your rifle in that moment. But
I've Giraud has a spare rifle, so he'll just give it to you.
Oh.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Because he won't be able to use the rifle. He'll be flying. So
even he can't do that.
In the montage, was I able to go and catch up with the notes and the documents that have been on the table, so I can look at the Hamilton case notes?
Oh yeah, of course. You came in and you handed Rosa Thomas-Dalton a cup of tea, and she showed you some papers.
Well, there's another bit of information that I haven't had a chance to share, which is when all this everything was sort of kind of. We were just kind of getting back to normal. We were on our way to the armory, and it was Rothman and Jones were by the secondary ships, right?
Yes.
And they think something had been sabotaged. They were talking about something sabotaged.
Yeah.
And I'm adding that in because, you were talking about a possible stowaway or a saboteur or something.
Yeah.
And I'm also thinking, this Kent Inquirer article is from 1927, right?
Yep.
Wasn't the cabin on the island built in the 20s?
Yes, it was. No, it wasn't. It was converted in the 20s. It had been built as a whaling station originally, or at least a prototype whaling station, but then it was abandoned as the trade in whaling changed, which I think you would have had glimpses of from dinner at the table with the captain, and actually Blatheby knew a bit about that because of his family's history of whaling, although he had nothing to do with whaling himself.
Okay.
Right.
And, so you would know that it was built in the 1900s and then converted into a cabin, more by way of sort of nautical / not exactly overt military use, but, sort of the building foundations were there, so they maintained them as a sort of lookout, really, because, of course, it still was a place where you could stop to get water, so it still had value, but nobody had necessarily fully explored the island because it just still wasn't a priority at that stage.
And can I now look at the Hamilton case notes?
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
I'm going to say that everyone can look at everything.
Okay.
During the montage, we all get a peek at the documents.
Yeah.
Okay.
And is the montage also, you say there's room for certain people in the helicopter and certain people in the snow track. Those of us who have been down looking at the documents, is there potentially room for us?
Heck yeah. So there's room for 4 in the snow track, comfortably, with equipment.
Fine.
And there's room for 2 in the helicopter with not much equipment, like a bag.
I'd be keen to offer my tracking skills to whoever's in the snow track. The vehicle, the snow track.
Well, it looks like it's Cook and Giraud in the helicopter.
In the chopper.
Crowe, Basker, McCutcheon, and Dalton if she wants to go, and Basker if he wants to go onto the island.
Yes, I did. Very much do. Yeah.
Which actually works well in terms of the ornithologists. You'd like to see the horror because it doesn't look good.
Oh, yes.
Also, Crowe, you're making a round of the ship, explaining to Baines, who's getting very stressed, getting Jones to throw ropes over the edge, where he wants to throw ropes over the edge of the ship to look at the damage. Yeah. And as you're doing a round of the ship, you find the rope ladder that's been dropped.
Right, but we know where he's got off.
Which was used... I mean, obviously you saw him going east. Let me just double check, because I'm notorious for my... Yeah, he was heading east.
Right. I mean, no need to flag that up necessarily, unless it comes up, because the rest of us are on the same page, right?
Now then, I think there's... Who was doing the reading? Could I pimp out Rosa Thomas-Dalton to read one tiny bit of the computer printout?
Yes. Particular date?
20th of February, 1923.
Very good. 20th of February, 1923. I was told the location of the cave, but must record its exact position to avoid errors when the chest is to be recovered. In view of our latitude, I must use rough methods rather than exact compass bearings. Number 1, draw a line from the tip of the horn to the nearest part of the pool. Number 2, at the midpoint of this line, start due south. At number 3, on meeting the cliffs, go northeast for 200 yards. The entrance to the cave is 20 yards inland from the cliff edge. After the sacrifice was complete, I closed it with rocks and covered them with earth and plants. There is another entrance to the sea, which should be adequate for the Guardians to enter.
Could you all give me a sanity check, including my military comrades?
Oh, wait, what's sanity?
Because as you all have the information shared amongst you, as the most reliable members of the of the Epsilon team, I'd just like to point out, Johnny McCutcheon has persistently rolled under 30 almost the entire two and a half hours that we've been playing. So I'm going to go with Johnny, because Dan Wheeler, you've just given me a face of doom with hands covering it. How bad is it?
Well, so if your sanity is above 50, then only 100 is a fumble, right?
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Unfortunately, my sanity is 45, so a 99 is... So that was a fumble.
Ah, dear.
Oh, dear.
The problem isn't so much the human sacrifice that seems to be being implied. Because surely it wasn't humans, right? Maybe they used animals. And then you look out across the ship and you realise that the lesser bar penguin is never going to recover. You're looking at an extinction. This is an extinction event. From what was hoped to be the revival into several million was hoped for soon. You're seeing these dazed, confused, fumbling. Some of them are acting very frantically, sort of scattering around on the rocks. And then it comes home. That same moment that you arrived, you had that moment of empathy, and now it's written large in your eyes. You look at them and you think, they're just like us. We're just like them. We're the ones that are scrambling around frantically, trying to look after our our fellows. And I'm afraid to say you are going to lose D3 sanity for that. Because that's... it normally would have been 1, but a fumble.
That's 2 points of sanity.
2 sanity. I'll let you think about the... I think there's an involuntary for that, but the others of you, how did that go? Okay?
I succeed.
44 on 75.
Failed.
2 fails. So, obviously, again, you hope that it would be some kind of... But the implication seems to be with the rest of the journal. There's this... There's a plot. There's a coup. There's some... People are involved with human sacrifices in this island in some kind of crazed, barbaric fashion. So it's 1 sanity. You lose another sanity, I'm afraid, Basker. Your first sanity for you, Cookie. But there's no need for involuntary action. It's a sort of creeping dread. Perhaps you would be driven towards some action that makes you feel better about some compulsions you have.
Yeah. Let's get in the copter. Get in the...
He's pushing you. He's pushing Pascal Giraud.
Okay.
I'm getting in.
All right, get in. Get the fuck in then. What do you want? Come on.
And I just sit in there, and I just sort of touch everything, and then I look at how, and I start talking about how it might have been made, but I know nothing about the helicopter at all. But it's like the metalwork, mate. Look at it. Look at that finish. And that's level. That is.
Hey, Cookie, what's got you so spooked, huh?
Nothing, mate.
All that garbage back there. Come on. There's lots of
It's good to be inside one of these things. It's good to be. Trust me. It's better to be inside one of these than one of these that's on fire and you have to jump out of one of these. Because that was not a pleasant experience, let me tell you.
I can't argue with that, my friend.
No. So what we want to do is stay in here, but no fires, and then keep it like it is now and stay in it.
Well, maybe no fires, but I'm going to fire it up if you don't mind. So,
music to my ears, mate. Music to my ears.
Now, on the...
Go on, Basker. I was going to say, a picture, an involuntary action for my sanity loss. If we're sat around, whoever's in this room, reading these things, read that thing, I think I suddenly push the chair back and go, there was something in the water, it was huge. It was huge. I don't know why I didn't say. I thought you all saw it. You didn't, did you? There was something in the water, it was huge. Moving. Not the boat. Something huge.
McCutcheon responds immediately by whatever his involuntary action is. Except he doesn't know it yet.
Sorry, I'm dealing with a baby monitor.
The ultimate horror. Rosa Thomas-Dalton, do you do anything or say anything in response to Basker? Sorry.
Describe it in more detail, Mr. Basker. Something was moving. Was it an animal? Was it a...
I believe it to have been an organic creature, yes. 20 foot long. Many feet across. It moved in a kind of pulse, like a giant squid.
How much...
Oh my God, it's a giant squid!
How much valerian have you taken, Mr. Basker?
I've taken none! If I'd taken valerian, I'd be much more calm. We're sitting ducks.
All right, I want you to take a breath, slap yourself around the face and calm down. You're hysterical. You need to calm down. You're going to get nothing done with you in this state.
I'm calm.
Good.
The Alicia Gonzalez was a ship that burned. Why did I dream about it? I never heard about it before.
All right, you need to get out of your own head and focus on what's right in front of you, Mr. Basker.
But Rosa Thomas-Dalton, you're able, because of that earlier psychological insight that you had about him, you're able to see that, yes, the crazed, and your advice about the slap seems to have knocked the crazed out of him. And again, he speaks with authority and truth. Because you know when he's bullshitting, because you've spent all that time with him interviewing you, and you know he's full of bullshit sometimes. But this is him telling the truth. He's never heard it before. And if that is the case, that would be enough to make you crazy, you think. Meanwhile, it's enough to distract you from whatever McCutcheon's...
McCutcheon has just started mumbling to himself. He's just started mumbling, we're the virus, huh? We're the fucking virus. We're the virus. And you see him flicking his... he takes his lighter out of his pocket and starts flicking it and just walks out of the room.
Any burning ambition, character-wise, for Cook? I take requests.
How do you mean?
Any tips that you might want to give me that you really want to do?
I want a side quest.
Side quest. Yeah.
Side quest.
I want a side quest to go and find the Pearl of Abungees.
Abungees. Right, perfect. Consider it done. It was one of a smaller group I was going to ask the question. Now it seems absurd, because I can't go through all of you. Jeany will be back shortly. Yeah, so Jeany, we're definitely going to have a hard midnight. We're definitely going to have a hard midnight finish. And like, it's best for all of us that we get as tight as possible.
In that moment, staring out at that desolate landscape, of course, I thought of the old Rev again, whether that mush would have had any words of comfort. I wish I could have known him. It feels like I do know him, huh? Those strange tales of his, what somehow made their way down to I. Fuck knows why, but they did. Well, he wrote like the buttoned-up Edwardian country parson that he was, but between the lines, there was fire, huh? He may not have had the way with words or the brilliance of the curate Gilbert White, but he had something that went beyond science. That wasn't just a passion or an obsession even, but somehow a deep spiritual understanding, huh? All his faith, all his belief in an immortal soul seemed to feed into the way he wrote about the barn owl and the blue tip, the adder and earthworm, the water boatman or the Chesil Bob pillbugs he found beneath the beach logs up in the hangars there. The way he spoke about all, well, what he called God's creatures. Such understanding. And I wonder what he would have thought looking at this sight. All right, I ain't here for the penguins, but I can tell there's something wrong. We're looking at some sort of mass extinction event. And this is our fault. I knows it. Don't ask me how, but I knows it. It's like I told Barney. We're a virus. No, a parasite. I don't mean that as a metaphor, I mean it literally. We gorge upon the earth, draining her crust of oil, her seas of fish, spitting bile back up and poisoning her soil, her rivers. Even the fucking sky ain't safe from us. All we do is kill, take, rape, and kill. Each other, and everything else. Well, 50 years from now, maybe less, you will only see a penguin in a zoo. But a reckoning is coming. People don't believe me, but it's coming, huh? Seas will rise, forests will burn, civilizations will fall, and chaos will reign. An apocalypse is coming, and I don't give a fuck if every last human cunt is scratched off the face of the earth. Just let the birds live, huh? Let them have it all.